This is a Hello Mac Nintendo 64 controller, and it's probably one of the rarest controllers for the Nintendo 64 that you'll find. But what is it, and why is it so rare? Well, let's take a look at the short history of this thing and find out exactly what it is. So obviously the first thing we should do is start off with its appearance. Now, the Hello Mac controller has a black faceplate. Not the same color, obviously, as the charcoal grey controller, but on the back, hey look, it is the same color as the charcoal grey controller. This is a two-tone, much like the European clear blue and red controllers, which were blue and red on this side, and then clear on the other side, or the Delay Hawks. No, the controller is only called the Delay controller, which was a deepish sort of orange on one side, and then a clear black on the other. This one, however, is just solid black, solid grey. Now, this color scheme is not unique like these two. This color scheme is actually seen on another controller, that controller being the Mario Kart 64 controller, which is basically this controller just without this sticker. Now, the difference between the somewhat common Mario Kart 64 controller and this rare beast is literally this sticker. But what is this sticker of a line with some Japanese writing on it that doesn't scratch off, really, have to do with anything? Well, the history behind this is pretty damn interesting. Now, this controller was obviously only sold in Japan. I don't know if you can get a good look at that, but obviously the writing is in Japanese on the symbol there. Now, this symbol is for Hello Mac stores, which is where it gets its name, from the Hello Mac store in Japan. Now, outside Japan, this was first realized and brought to the attention of Nintendo 64 collectors in 2011 when someone by the name of Lucky or Lucy, oh god, I've forgotten the name, Luick555 posted this on eBay to fund a trip. He was selling all sorts of rare gaming collection stuff that he got from Japan. Now, the sales started off a bit slow, but then people started to realize what this actually was and picked up on it, and then the sale exploded to over $750 US. And yeah, that was crazy at the time. Obviously, we had found a new controller, one that we had never seen before. Now, as of 2011, up till about 2014, where I got most of my information from, because I could only find a site or two that actually had information about it. This is, back then, known to have less than 40 exist. That number, I feel like by 2017, has probably gone up to about 50 or just a little less than. But still, when you're considering how many people collect Nintendo 64, there being even 50 of these in the world is crazy. 50 known to exist. So, already that's crazy. But why are there so little of these? Well, this was brought out near the end of the Nintendo 64's lifespan. I couldn't get a date, but if I had to guess, I would say 1999, 2000. So this controller suffers from what I like to call Conker's Bad Fur Day syndrome, which is basically that people were stopping sort of caring about the Nintendo 64 as hype for the GameCube was coming up. So this sort of fell by the wayside. And on top of that, and this is just a personal opinion, not one that's actually written anywhere, I feel like this is one of those things where Mario Kart 64 was really big in Japan, and so a lot of people probably had the Mario Kart color scheme. And when stuff like this was coming out on the market, looking this cool, and wasn't selling, something that came out with the exact same color scheme as a Mario Kart 64 controller was probably going to have even less of a chance out there. So it sold really poorly, because it came out at the end of the life cycle, it didn't really add anything new to the table. And of course, it was an exclusive to the store. Literally the only thing added is this sticker here. So that's why these are so rare. Now, I have a loose one, but let me tell you about the boxed ones. I only saw one boxed one for sale when I bought this, and it went for $2,000 Australian. Now, I'm a massive Nintendo 64 collector, but I got this for like $150. I'm not spending another $18.50 on the box. So, yeah, no, not happening. But what I will tell you is that as of 2014, I'm not sure how many have been discovered since, but there are only 3 recorded boxed Hello Mac controllers. 3. That's insane. But why was this even made? Well, like I touched on before, this was a store exclusive. I believe that just came with the either it came with the regular Nintendo 64 in a bundle, or it just came on its own. I feel like it might have been a bundle thing, but don't quote me on that. I feel like that is also what resulted in poorer sales. Because, think about it, if it did come bundled with the Nintendo 64 instead of being sold separately, then obviously by the late 90s and early 2000s, if anyone was going to buy Nintendo 64 products, they probably already had the console. No one was really buying the console, so if this was a bundle in, yeah, it was going to sell even worse. Now, a little bit of pop culture references on this. This was actually featured in an anime. I don't know the name of the anime, so... Okay, so, this was featured in an anime, and I'll have a screenshot of it. I'm going to try and pronounce this off camera so I can actually see it, because I can't read Japanese. Okay, Idol Tensei Yokoso Yoko. I got that absolutely, completely, bloody wrong. But I'll put it up all nice and fancy on the screen here, the name of it, so you can go and check it out. But they featured a Hello Mac toy shop in that anime. I should probably, because I keep saying Hello Mac toy shop, think Japanese Toys R Us. And just like Toys R Us, it went bankrupt. Or, liquidated in 2009, and they stopped selling things. So, that doesn't really end on a great note. But, it was a decent thing at the time. Basically, a little quick thing, if you don't know, this is just a little extra bonus facts, is that, yes, you can use this on an NTSC or PAL Nintendo 64, and just plays normally. Really, with the Hello Mac, all you're doing is paying for the sticker. And a lot of people probably aren't that heavy into the collection of Nintendo 64 products, which is why you can see quite a few of these for sale. In fact, when I bought this, like I said, I only found one box one, but loose ones, even though only 50 exist, I saw about 12 to 15 of these floating around different auction sites. I obviously just got mine off eBay because I live in Australia and Amazon hates us, and like, it really fucking hates us. It's like Netflix, they both hate us. So yeah, I got this off eBay, but you can find it back when it was first being discovered, and a few years later on it was being found on Yahoo, like Japanese auction sites, obviously Amazon. But yeah, just got this off eBay, and it actually has... I didn't expect the joystick to be as solid as it was. I thought this was going to be a really bad and loose thing. I don't know why, because this is obviously a collector's item, so no one's actually going to be using this to play the Nintendo 64. But yeah, I realized, I noticed that it's probably because the cord is tied up like this, but feels just slightly, very slightly heavier. And again, it probably is because the cord is dangling like this and not like, these, which are just... I don't like tying up my cords. When I was a kid, I used to do that thing where you'd wind it around. Never again. Don't do that. You'll really fuck up the cord. And all my controllers that I owned from the late 90s don't really work that well. Although, to be fair, a lot of that is also because of the joystick. But, here's what I want to end it on. Like I said, less than 50 of these exist. Pretty fucking rare, right? Well... It's not the only controller that Hello Mac Toy Stores released, and this is also not the rarest one. There is one out there, I don't have it, but I'm going to put a picture on the screen, and it's called the Jeffrey controller. The Jeffrey controller is exactly like this. The only difference is the sticker, instead of being a lion, is Jeffrey the giraffe, assumedly another mascot of Hello Mac toys. And that's even rarer. I don't know why it's rarer. I don't know the conditions of if they just had both of these sitting out and you could pick one or the other and people just preferred the Lion, or what it was, why they had two different versions. I don't know. When I did my Diehawks review, I said that this is a nice little rare collectible, but nowhere near one of the rarest items for Nintendo 64. In fact, there are games that are rarer than that system. Like, honestly, I'm ashamed to say this, spent more on Snowboard Kids 2 PAL than I did on that entire Diehawk system. Yeah. And I mentioned that there is something rarer, and I was referring to this. And now I'm saying there is something even rarer, referring to the Jeffrey controller. And one of these days, I'm going to get the Jeffrey controller, and I'm going to show it off, and I'm going to tell you that it is not the rarest thing, and I'm going to tell you something even rarer. Although, at that point, I'm probably not going to be able to get it. So, it'll be sort of myths and pictures. But I am hoping to get that Jeffrey controller, so stay tuned, because one of these days it'll be mine. And if you would like to see a review or a showing or an explanation of anything Nintendo 64, let me know. I might possibly have it, or it's something that I will definitely try and collect. Obviously, the only things that I can't collect are prototypes, one-of-a-kind things, which is what I'm going to touch on in the Jeffrey video. Stuff like that. It has to be something that was commercially released that I can actually get my hands on. But other than that, price, no issue. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I know I rambled on a bit, but I just wanted to show off this really cool controller, even though it is just the Mario Kart 64 controller with a cool little lion sticker. But, yeah, that's that. Who wants to play Mario Kart?